Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be make women feel special, at least more special than all of the other girls that you may be dating, especially when they bring up, so are you dating anybody else? Are you dating and sleeping with anyone else? Because a lot of guys tend to get themselves into trouble when that question comes up, just like the guy whose email I'm about to get to in a second. But before we get into it, I want to go through a quote that I've got here. This is actually one that I wrote down. And the quote goes, "Feminine energy grows through praise. Compliments and praise must be authentic and given from the heart at the right times. Not as a bribe for sex, not as a bribe for forgiveness or a date." Something to think about. A lot of guys use compliments as a way to try to get a phone number, and so they kind of dance around the subject, and it's not really an authentic compliment from the heart. It's more of a manipulation tactic, and most women can see right through it. And so one of the things that's important to understand is about making a woman feel special is like if you just started dating and you're probably dating other people, she's probably dating other people, and then you start hooking up with her, and then she brings up, are you hooking up with any other girls? Are you sleeping with anybody else? That can be a really touchy subject to talk about, because if you give a girl the impression that, hey, you're not really that special, and I'm sleeping with other girls, you can come off as being arrogant and basically, you're another notch in my fucking bedpost. And you might not think you're coming off, you might think you're being funny or a little cocky about it, but when the girl doesn't call you back a few days later or a week later, when you call her for your next date, then you'll know that you pushed it too far. Because women want to know that, because women are going to find you more attractive if you have lots of options with women, meaning if you have lots of girls that want to go out with you, or you have lots of options, you have lots of choices in your life. And so but when you throw it in their face, you basically treat them like they're anybody else. But when you treat them like they're more special than anybody else, you make them, because every woman, I mean, think about it. Wouldn't you want to feel like, for the girl that you're dating, that you're the most awesome guy on the planet, at least in her eyes? I mean, wouldn't you want that yourself? And so think about that and how that's going to make a woman feel about you emotionally when you throw a bunch of other girls in her face. And so here's a good way to, let me go through his email first, and then we'll go through the situation, what happened and what she said to him, and then I'll go through what I would have texted back to her instead that would have made it funny and charming and just moved on to planning the next date. Because you got to remember, in these kinds of situations, when a woman like pushes you up against the wall, not like physically, but like with her questions, her line of questioning, especially when it comes to other women, your response and your ability to continue to lead the conversation by asking the questions is going to be critical to you being able to diffuse this situation and make her chill out and feel like, okay, well, he's dating other girls, but obviously he thinks I'm better than all the rest of those girls, so I know eventually he's going to be all mine. And that's kind of the way they think internally. But if you just like, hey, you're just another cum dumpster to me, or you're just another girl I'm hooking up with. I know it's a terrible thing to say. It's like amazing all the funny things that guys come up with, but obviously it's not going to end well, just like it did for this particular guy. So let's get into his email. He says, "Hey Corey, how are you doing, my brother from another mother? I'm doing pretty awesome. Thanks for asking." He says, "You've helped me out before." He said, "You did an article for me called Sex Addict Chasing Pussy Guy." Is that the name of it? I don't know if that was the actual name, but he says it was some time ago. He says, "I can identify with a lot of your stuff, and it really works, and I want you to know that you know what the hell you're talking about, and especially with all the family stuff that you grew up, as well as me with my father. My dad was a wimp who didn't know any better because my mother was controlling, and I guess they fought a lot." And he says, so he assumes 100% of responsibility for changes that he has to make in his own life today. He says he's 48 and he's loving this stuff. He says he loves Spanish women and he loves fucking all the time. He says, I met this Ecuadorian woman online, and I understand these women are most the same like Colombians, Mexicans, Peruvians, very controlling, take charge, and need to know everything kind of women. They're also women tend to be very competitive, and that was something that was, when I really started learning about this subject, seeing how women were, not all of them, but some women are, like when they both like the same kind of guy, it's like everything goes out the window, best friends forever or not. It's like all that shit goes out the window when two girls who are best friends like the same guy. It's just amazing the stuff that I've seen women do, just that I've been dating. So he says, I met her. So he says, I met this particular girl. I took her out to dinner and then a movie. Then I escorted her home and I went for the goodnight kiss. And he says, I got it. And he says, I was fearless and daring and the touching was great. And I tend to be different, as you mentioned. He says, but as you mentioned, movies are not a good date, but I grabbed her. So I guess he went to a date with her. He grabbed her and he fondled her ears, and she was smoking hot, and I think she came as well. Just because you were fondling her ears? I don't know. Some chicks are really, it's amazing. Some girls, like, you touch their nipples, and it's like the on switch, dude. Other women, it's a small of their back. It's like every girl is different. No two women are the same. At least that's been my experience. So he says, LOL, but she wanted to see me again, and so I invited her over, and she initiated the second date, and then we had awesome sex in my apartment. And then he says, on the third date, I said I would like to take her dancing, and she wanted to know when and how, and all these fucking details. And then, and so this is where he started to go wrong. He says, I told her just to chill and to wear a dress and then meet me at this train at a certain time. And I told her to keep it simple. And I think this is her asking me if I am dating other women with benefits because... So I guess she started asking him if he's dating other women and sleeping with them. And I've had a lot of women ask me those kinds of questions. And it's always best to answer them in a fun, humorous, charming way and try to change the subject as fast as you can and be mysterious about it. But have fun while you're doing it. Because when you get serious or you get a serious look on your face, it never fucking ends well. How do I know? I've been through that situation enough times to know that if you don't keep it in a fun, humorous place, it's gonna be like a turd in a punch bowl, man. It's not gonna go. It's like goes over like a lead fucking balloon. So he says he showed up for the date. She wasn't there, and so he wants to know what's going on. And I would say, more than likely, the way you talk to her, just by when she brought this stuff up, kind of sounds like you just were ignoring what she was saying, and you got a little pissed off and bent out of shape, and you were just kind of like told her where to be at a certain time, at a certain place. And so she probably felt like you came off as being a little arrogant and like that she was just another notch in your bedpost. And if you do that, she's going to feel like, oh, this guy's just using me for sex. He doesn't care about me at all. There's no possible chance for any type of long-term relationship or solution coming up, because it's obvious this girl is probably looking for a relationship. That's why when women start asking about who else you're dating, they want to know if there's a prospect or a chance that something could happen romantically between the two of you down the road. He says, so, and like, not all women are going to be like that. Some women are just totally cool and they won't bring it up, and it won't be an issue for them until obviously later on when you've been dating for a period of time and they're really starting to fall for you. So here's what I would say. And so like if she texts and she basically says, you know, are you dating other women, having friends with benefits? A good way to respond to that without saying too much is just, I've been dating, but no one has really knocked my socks off like you have, baby. But I'm having a lot of fun with you and I look forward to seeing you. That's the kind of thing that I would text back. I can't wait to taste your delicious lips when I see you tomorrow. I gotta run, babe. I can't wait to see you. Bye. And so the idea is to, in a charming way, like what I acknowledged to her, I said, I've been dating, but no one's really knocked my socks off like you have. And so what I'm basically telling her with that statement is that you're more special to me than all the rest of the girls that I've met. No one's knocked my socks off like you have. And so that makes her feel like I'm looking at her, this girl as like the best thing that I've met so far out of all these other women. And I'm not rubbing these other women, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out with her, she knows that I can easily go out with one of these other girls that I'm dating. But, of course, I'm more interested in her than I am all these other girls. And so in her mind, she thinks, okay, so I've just reassured to her that I care about her and I've made her feel more special than anybody else that I'm dating. And so deep down she thinks, oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him all to myself. And she thinks I'm going to catch him. I'm going to make him mine. And I'm going to be such an awesome girl that he's not going to want any of these other women. Because that's why she's bringing these things up in the first place. And so, like when I reiterate, hey, I'm having a lot of fun with you and I look forward to seeing you, I'm basically trying, especially with this happening over text, because this is definitely not the kind of conversation that you want to have over the phone or in a text. So if you're talking on the phone to a girl and she says something like this or she texts you, the nice thing about texting is you can think about your responses. If you're talking on the phone, you got to be a little bit quicker on your feet. But if you're in person and you're at dinner and she says something like this, you can read her body language, you can look in her eyes, you can say, oh, come on, baby. It's like, of course I'm dating other women, but at the end of the day, you got something special about you. It's like you have an energy about you. It's like I don't feel for these other girls the attraction that I feel for you. It's just I think you're awesome. Bring those beautiful little lips over here and kiss me now. I miss them. And she'll go, oh, and she'll lean in and she'll kiss you. And then you go into asking her another question, and then you go on to the next subject. Because that's basically the reason that she's asking you that in the first place is she wants to know what you think about her, how attracted to her are you. She wants to feel that she's special, and you just acknowledged that, and you made her feel that she's special and she's unique. Nobody wants to be made, men and women both, we don't want to be made to feel like we're just another average person. I'm just another dude, or a woman doesn't want to feel like, oh, you're just another chick. Yeah. Another woman, she doesn't want to be made to feel that way. We all want to feel special. And so say the things to her that you think are special about her when you're together. But like I said, the best way to handle these kinds of situations, keep your response funny, keep it short, don't say too much, and then just reiterate. We can talk about it more when I see you in person. If you want to play 20 questions when we get together next, we can absolutely do it then. But babe, I got to run. I got to run to a meeting. I got to take care of this. I got to take care of that. Whatever it happens to be, I'll see you tomorrow night. I can't wait to see you. And then you get off the phone and you leave the conversation. That's the best way to handle those situations. Because like I said, you do it over the phone, you do it over email, you do it over texting. 9 times out of 10. It's not going to end well. But if you do it in person, it's a lot easier to be humorous and funny and resolve it right there, because you can read her body language. So if you got a situation or a challenge that you'd like to get my help personally with, the quickest way is to go to my website, click the products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session. And I will talk to you soon.